Hey there, this is BugPowderDust, and thank you for joining me for episode 4 of Distinctly Average World of Tanks. So today's some gameplay, and we're going to bring you two games. One is from the excellent T-29 American Tier 7 heavy tank. Look at that beauty. And the second one will be from the Izu-152 Soviet tank destroyer with the awesome BL-10 152mm cannon. This thing is an animal. 286 penetration. Oh, 750 damage. Yes, please. It's great. It does a lot of damage. So I'm showing you these two games, both of which played in the last 24 hours. They're good fun, both of them. And let me just quickly talk about the T-29 for those of you who aren't that familiar with it. So it's a Tier 7 American heavy, as I said. The gun on it is awesome. 198 penetration, 320 damage. Now at Tier 7, that's really very nice indeed. And interestingly enough, at Tier 8, the T-32, which is the next tank up, that actually uses the same gun, the 105 T5E1. Let me just show you that very quickly. T-32. As you can see, it's the same gun. So the fact you get effectively a Tier 8 gun on a Tier 7 tank is pretty awesome. Now the other good thing about the tank, and this is where it really comes into its own, is this turret. We'll notice the turret has 279mm of front armour, and even 127 at the sides. It's got half decent gun depression as well. Now the hull is nothing special, 102. It's not bad, it's okay, but if you can get this tank hull down, so you've got something covering up the front bottom, so the lower half of your tank, you are cooking. This tank is really hard to beat. You'd have to fire at the commander, Cupola here, and it's a tall tank, so if you're in something that's small, you're going to have trouble firing up at this. The Izu, great tank. The Su-152 before it is a great vehicle as well, really good fun. The 152, the stock 152mm high explosive derp cannon, as it's called, as you can see in the picture here, that's the gun that I used all the way through this tank because it kind of guarantees damage. It's high explosive, it's going to do some damage. Sometimes it does lots of damage to open top vehicles, and other times it does less damage. But the point is, you're always going to do damage. You don't generally have to worry about penetrating. Great fun. Izu-152, this gun is fantastic. The BL-10, again, this is what's used on the next tank up, the Object 704. So effectively you're getting the a Tier 10 gun at Tier 8. This thing rocks, and you'll see it in action very shortly. On to the games. Okay, so the first game is with the T-29 on Corelia. This is actually a really nice map. It's been around for quite a long time. Has undergone a change or two, but it's in a very good state at the moment. Now, you'll see from the sidebars, the team bars, that we appear to be at a bit of a disadvantage. We have five players who are green or blue rated on XVM. The other team have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 players who are green or blue rated on XVM. Now, of course, XVM is merely giving you an indicator of a player's skill. I mean, any battle can go any way. Although that Panzer 3-4 just there on the left wasn't off to a great start. So both myself and Watlanka are in this game, both in T-29s, which is an awesome Tier 7 heavy tank. Once it's fully upgraded, has the top turret and the top gun. I mean, the gun itself is absolutely fantastic, and it can do, it's 198 penetration, 320 damage. Now at Tier 7, that's fantastic. If you can get this tank hull down, you can do an awful lot of damage. Now on TeamSpeak, Watlanka says he's going to go left, and he's going to go down into that dip, where he can put his turret and being hull down to good use. I snap off a shot of the T-34-85 before he goes out of sight. I really wasn't expecting that shot to go in, but you know, what the hell, take it anyway. I noticed the Panzer 4H is kind of out in the open. Don't take advantage of that. But then a wild KV-2 appears and takes the shot destined for the Panzer 4. Keeping an eye to my left at the T-34 just to make sure he doesn't pop up and shoot me. I now push out again. And the shot goes a little bit high. However, we see a Hellcat up on the hill in K6, a very popular spot for tank destroyers until they get spotted. But he's obviously no idiot. He knows he's been spotted. He has sixth sense, and he backs off. The Hellcat is quite fragile. Tiger 1, that's a better target for me to be shooting at than a KV-2. So let's back off, wait for the reload. A little bit aware of the artillery, but the artillery don't seem to be focusing on me, which is good. Bounce a shot from the Hellcat. Now they're moving over to the left while I was taking cover there. So Panzer 4 wants to join them. Not today. I feel a bit cheap firing at a tier 5 target with this gun, but there's nothing else to fire at, so taking tanks out of the game is taking tanks out of the game. As it is, the shot missed, and he got taken out by a BDR, another tier 5 heavy. So far so good. Watlanka's holding his own. There's some really good spaces where he is for putting his T-29's turret to good use, being hull down. It's exactly where he is basically, and he's holding them up quite nicely, putting his shots into the Hellcat. And I'm thinking that if that T-29 comes around, I can shoot him, but we control the hill, and therefore he's probably not going to come around. So I decided, okay, it's probably time to move up now, because I've outstayed my usefulness where I was. And I think that's part of knowing, part of World of Tanks is knowing when to push, when to kind of sit back and just play a little bit more cautiously. And that's something I don't always get right. In this game, I did get it right. So I'm pushing up. Now, I'm trying to deflect the T-29's attention from Watlanka, and while he's got his turret turned to me, he's not got the... There we go, he hasn't got it pointed towards Watlanka, so we both get hits on him while he's distracted. So while I was distracted, the Tiger one takes advantage and puts a good shot into my hull, which isn't particularly heavily armoured. I was going to back up the hill to get a shot on the T-29 from above. So he's down. So let's push up. Now the Tiger appears to be a good player, so need to be a little bit careful here. His rate of fire can, well, basically far outstrips mine. So I need to control this engagement. And if I can control the engagement, I can out DPS him, no problem at all. Keep them spotted is the main thing. So I can proxy spot the Tiger if I move forward a little bit, or if they move forward a little bit. Oh, there's the Bishop. The trouble with the Tiger, it's a fantastic tank, but it's no good at brawling. Its armour is so flat. You can hit it in the turret, you can hit it in the hull, it doesn't matter, which is a shame. It's such a lovely tank. I do like playing the Tiger, but you have to be cautious with it. A Tiger in this situation is never going to win, both driver skills being equal. So I'll take a shot at the Bishop, just a snapshot. I mean, again, the gun's not very accurate, so I was more kind of chancing my arm than anything else. So this is a fairly easy shot. At this point I'm doing the heavy tank mission to kill a tank within 100 meters of me, and this is actually perfect. I was really hoping I'd get the reload in time, which I do. So that's that heavy tank personal mission obtained, which is pretty cool. Oh, there we go. There's the arty. I was waiting for my sight to settle, but I thought I'd take the shot, or I'd miss the opportunity to take him out. So 2,697 damage isn't bad actually, out of 9 hits. The important thing is to keep the gun singing, and that's what I've managed to do on this game. It's a case of right place, right time. It's partially luck, partially skill. In my case, mostly luck actually. So we're running up the hill now to try and find the final M5 Stuart. It's 14-4, it's been one of those games. And to be honest, it wasn't a rollover in the way that the sort of 15-5, 15-4 games normally are, because the enemy team was skilled and they did put up a fight. It's just in this case we were better. I mean, if you look at as I said, the skill level of the opposing team, they weren't all noobs. So there we go. And that's it, game over. Good game. Okay, so let's have a look at the post-game stats. Mastery badge 2, only 1 medal, 5 for effect, but did more damage to enemy vehicles and hit points on my own vehicle, and that's always a really good yardstick of how well a game went. You really need to aim to do at least the hit points of your own tank in damage to the enemy team. Experience times 2, so I got about 1,000, just over 1,000 XP unadjusted, and with premium that would have been quite tasty. Lots of damage to the enemy tanks. What I do, so did some critical damage, doesn't tell me what on this website unfortunately. Team score, myself and Watlanka came top. I think I was in slightly the better position, and that's more through fortune than anything else, but I did the most damage. Just shy of a Brothers in Arms medal for us if Watlanka had got the 3rd kill, and 1086 XP as mentioned earlier. 14 shots fired, 9 direct hits, 9 penetrations, so generally at this kind of level game you do tend to go in if you hit, especially against Tigers. Damage blocked by armor 240, so it didn't bounce a great deal. So yeah, there we go, 31,000 made, and after ammunition etc, I think it's 1,000 silver a shot, so it is 1,000 silver a shot, 14 shots, 14,000, so it's not a cheap gun to fire. but you generally do penetrate what you aim at, certainly on a tier 7 game, so you make a little bit of money. Okay, on this next map it's Swamp. I like Swamp. It's it wasn't one of the original maps, but it was brought in originally quite a dark map, and it was withdrawn and then put back in a couple of times, I think, and it's now in its current incarnation, and it's actually really quite good. As a tank destroyer player, I normally end up starting on the other side, so I wasn't entirely sure where to go here, but I was looking behind me, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably not a bad spot. I can control the middle and offer some fire into the raised part just north of the town in the kind of H6, G6, G7 area. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. Now, you'll notice that the two sides, now in this game, as opposed to the T29 game, we have the advantage with what appears to be skilled players, and the other side appear to have less skilled players. So if I had got the XVM win chance turned on, I would guess it would be in our favour. But as I've said before, XVM isn't everything, and any players who kind of look at it and go, "Oh God, we've lost," and then kind of give up or log out, and that's just foolish, as the last game in the T29 proved. So we're going to set up stock here. The BL9, is it BL10? I can't remember what the gun is. BL10, I think it is. BL10 gun is amazing. 286 penetration. You don't need gold shells with this gun, and so I haven't bothered with it. So here we go. First candidate. Managed to lead him and took him out in one hit, 580 damage. Now, with this, my personal mission was to kill a tank without him spotting me. So I killed the tank, but he spotted me as I fired, and therefore it didn't count. So I'm kind of moving about just to kind of throw off artillery. They only have one artillery, but I'm kind of moving about trying to throw him off. Hopefully he'll forget about me being here. So I'm going to move around to the left here just to see if I can get a bead on that VK light tank, but it's not to be. I notice on the minimap there's a Tiger in E5, which is just beyond my drawing range of the client. So I'll try and push up a little bit, see if I can get sight on him, but I'm assuming he's behind that rock. So I kind of push forward a little bit, try and get my, if you look on the minimap, the red border, if I try and get that over the Tiger 2, it will draw him, and I can see exactly where he is. I'm a little bit cautious still, but let's push forward a little bit. And he's become despotted anyway. Now, in the north, the Tiger 1 is holding back an IS-2 and a T-34. He's got help from an IS-3, but the IS-3 is crossing the open ground, and that's not great, so I'm kind of watching the north, hoping they hang on, because we are looking a little bit weak in the north. So the Tiger 2 comes out but despots. I'm not firing because it takes me 12, 13, 14 seconds to reload, so it's not the sort of thing for kind of snap speculative shots, but he will be spotted. The VK2801 is moving in, there we go, so I bang a shot him. Remember, with 286 penetration, I probably don't even need to bother aiming at a Tiger 2. I can just hit it anywhere. And that knocks a good chunk of health off him, 616. It's a low damage roll, to be fair. In fact, both my hits have been low damage rolls. If you think the average damage I can do is 750, and I've hit for 580 and 616. I think the 518 was the maximum amount of hit points of that light tank, but the 616 was low. Never mind. One thing about being in a TD like this, you've got to be patient. Now I notice off the right hand side the IS-2 is now in open ground, so I quickly take the opportunity and take a pop at him. And he's tracked. Perfect. 770, that's more like it, an above average roll. And now the AMX. The AMX-50 is again on the edge of my drawing range, there he is. Move forward, aim, let the gun settle. Still haven't reloaded yet, and he's disappeared. I'm not going to put in a speculative shot. But we've lost the north now, which is a big deal. T-34 is pushing up. The E25 is pushing up. We only have a Jagdpanther there. I'm not convinced that me pushing up is going to actually help a great deal and would expose me to fire from the AMX. So that wouldn't be a good use of my time, unfortunately. I'd love to be a bit more mobile and I'd have gone up and helped. So you see the E25 is now approaching the Jagdpanther from the north. That's not a good situation at all. At this point I'm thinking, well, we are winning 7-6, but this could so easily go either way. I'm kind of praying and hoping that it's going to go our way. So the AMX 50-100 is not popping out. This is a great spot for a TD. I didn't realise it was actually quite as good as this. I never really sat here before. I'm really hoping he comes out, but he's not. The AT-7 down in the south, just north of the town there, seems to have got control of the ridge, and he's in a great position to fire down across the swamp and up towards the two black princes there on the minimap that you can see. Now keep a note of the position of those black princes on the minimap, their last spotted positions, because they will come up later, to my surprise. So the Rheinmetall Borzig goes up there and takes care of business, and I compliment him in the chat window. He did a really good job. He went back, he saw the threat, he went back and he dealt with it. And again, see, this is the thing with XVM, it's saying that he's not a brilliant player. What's he got? 831 efficiency, 48% win rate. So you might look at him and think, yeah, but he actually did the right thing there, he read it. Here we go. I should have fired sooner, but I didn't get spotted, more importantly, which gives me the chance to reload. The AMX doesn't know I'm here. He's probably seen the shot whiz past him, he doesn't know what it is. Maybe he thought it was artillery. So it gives me the chance to fire. He stopped. Boom, 750. So he's going to finish the Stora Emil, who unfortunately misses. I don't think he could have one-shot him anyway with what he had left. Stora Emils do about 500 damage average. So I'm almost reloaded, and I am going to get him. Or I would have, but the Rheinmetall took care of him, which is cool. So we bring it back, and it's now 9-10, but the trouble is we've got 4 tank destroyers and an arty, and they've got 4 heavy tanks, a TD, an arty. The odds are very much in their favour. Now my spidey senses are tingling, and I'm thinking we're going to get attacked from the south. And sure enough, as I start backing up to cover that side, the Lerva appears. We're still being threatened from the north in the T-34, but the Rheinmetall Borzig has the gun to deal with the T-34, depending on how the T-34 plays. Now, looking at XVM, the T-34's skill level is not high, but that doesn't, as I said before, necessarily mean anything. So I dig in and wait, and this is where I make my mistake. I put myself into this position here. Now, there's not much cover in front of me, and more importantly, I don't have an exit route. So for the time being, this is great. The Black Prince can't see me if he pops around that corner. I've got a slightly better view range, I think. Now, I'm really tempted to type in chat 87 back up, let him come in, but to be honest, it's a lot to type. He might not see it, and he might not want to do it anyway, even if he understands English. So I'm kind of sitting and waiting here. And I forget just how rubbish my position is. I see the Rheinmetall Borzig in the minimaps going around the side. I'm thinking that's perfect. He's going to put him. I'm just going to wait till he slows up a little bit. Take a speculative shot, and it's only 5 short of killing him, but that should make him perfectly shootable for the 87. Absolutely, there we go. So that does help the 87 put him down in one go. I noticed the Rheinmetall had the bigger of the 2 guns it can fit. It does about 800 damage, but the reload takes a long time. Do you know what? This Lerva, me not taking the shot when I had the chance, is going to come back and bite me in the arse later on. That Lerva, if I'd shot him there, this game could have been ended differently. Keep an eye on that. So I mentioned the Black Princes earlier. They've actually gone all the way round. They were in C4, they went all the way back round, now they're here, which is an interesting choice. In the north, the Rheinmetall Borzig is engaging the T-34, but he's managed to hold him off, which is good. We have a Stora Emil now in the middle. He's kind of covering, but effectively it's me and RT versus these guys, and this is where I make my mistake. The Black Prince is now within visual range of me. Actually, it's not this time, sorry, it's the next one. Black Prince hasn't spotted me. I think I had a bush between me and him, which is perfect. So I decided, okay, I'm going to hide. My sixth sense hasn't gone off. I see a tree go down. I'm lining up for my next shot. Now, being behind this bush will stop me from being spotted to a degree if I don't fire my gun. But if I fire my gun, it will light me up like a Christmas tree regardless. So there's the other Black Prince. Take a shot, and I miss, and that sucks. He's now spotted me, and this is where it all starts going horribly wrong. Now I'm spotted, I'm now everyone's number 1 target. They didn't know where I was previously to this. He's backing off, I'm going to reload in time. My gunner's wounded, so you see the circle closing very slowly. Now my driver's wounded, and I've got nowhere to go. I've got absolutely nowhere to go, which is a real shame. But that was my own fault. But I did 4,911 damage, so I'm actually quite pleased with that. This game is not going to end well. Okay, so here we go, the post-game stats. Mastery Badge 2, again, caused more damage to enemy vehicles than hit was my vehicle. I also got High Caliber, caused damage, must be at least 20% of the total hit points of enemy vehicles, so that's always nice to get. It damaged lots of enemy tanks, a few criticals here and there, 37,000 silver and 894 experience. Let's arrange it. So yeah, I mean, did lots of damage. The Rheinmetall Baltic was no slouch though, and he did lots of damage as well. So well done to him. I think he played really well. And at the end, he lost out to weight of numbers. He really did try his hardest, and my hat off to this player. So fair play to you, sir. Detailed report: 9 shots fired, 7 hits, 7 penetrations. With that high penetration, it's always going to go in. Almost 5,000 damage. As expected, didn't block any damage because I don't really have any armour. So 37,000 silver received. Auto resupply ammunition. Almost 15,000 credits. So probably about 1,100-1,200 each for each shot. So it's an expensive gun, but it does a lot of damage. So you really want to make sure that you're hitting tanks with over 800 or over 750 hit points to make sure you get maximum damage and maximum silver for your shot, to make sure the shot isn't wasted. An 894 experience. So I hope you enjoyed those 2 replays. They're both good fun to play. It was a shame the last one was a loss, but it was still good fun to play, and that's really what the game is about. I also sadly didn't get the personal mission achieved because the light scout spotted me as I fired. Even though I killed him, it did count as being spotted, so that's a shame. Anyway, if you did like this, please leave a like or a comment, and I'll catch up with you on the next episode.